Okay. All right.
I wanted to ask, we beat them without Trey, we beat them with Trey. What's the common denominator between those two games?
Yeah, I don't want to make it about, Boston. They're the world champs, and they didn't have a great shooting night. I think for our group, the ebb and flow of the game for us to be up, and then they went on a run, and for us to respond to that, to respond after a really rough first quarter. They're a terrific team, and I think we did the things we needed to do to win the game. I'm not taking anything away from our guys, but I just want us to keep getting better. And as you said, every game's different. Neither team shot well. It was a gritty game, and it's good to have Jalen back. His presence in the game. It doesn't matter if he's scoring. There's different ways to impact the game, and I was impressed with, as the game went on, the things that he did. And can't say enough about particularly the rebound that he came up with. A lot of really good efforts. I thought Dyson's aggressiveness offensively gave us a lot. And Trey didn't have a great shooting night, but he kept shooting, particularly from three, and that was, that made a big difference, especially when their bigs are back. So, again, Hunt was aggressive. We just had a lot of really good efforts. I thought Veet played a really good game too, and that's the real answer to your question. We just had a team effort, which is what it takes to compete against a team of Boston's caliber.
What about just the composure after that tech that Trey got, and then also the little skirmish that they had, just the composure of this team? This game looked like it was all but over.
Yeah, I think you wanted to, your hope is, when you find adversity in the game, because it comes in a lot of different forms, that, that can bring you together and you can raise your level as opposed to it splitting you apart. And I think that's what we saw tonight.
How did you feel Trey managed the kind of target pick and roll going at Queta in overtime, where he was going into a shot the first few times, and then when they started kind of committing harder, that's when
one of the biggest plays of the game was when he swung the ball quickly to Dre, and DeAndre didn't make the shot, and you could see the response right after with both those two guys is that there was just this recognition that was the right play. And over time, those decisions, that's what winning teams do. And so that situation to me was emblematic in a lot of ways. Those two guys and their connection during the game has been really important for our team.
Yeah, like on that play, Trey almost tried to sell the position he was
Yeah.
going for just to get Tatum.
No, and that's something that we've talked about, and he's embraced that. When he gets those those switching situations where he can get by, he may not be able to get all the way to the basket, but he doesn't have to. He's going in there with a mindset that he's going to find somebody. And that one was right in front of him, and he found it. So, and then there's times when he does get by, and just finding that mix between when people are shifted and helping. We've got to do a better job when he does get in the lane. We've been really emphasizing a lot when he either keeps his dribble or picks up his dribble. That's a great time to cut because he'll find you. But a lot of times they're spaced out to shooters. And I thought Trey read the game well. Early on, they were playing him for the pass. And I thought as the game went on, he started shooting his floater because that was what was there. And then the possession that you mentioned when they helped, when Queta was on him, as you said, for him to find Hunt. And those are great shots. Those are shots we have a chance to rebound too.
Speaking of rebounds, you had O and Jalen had some pretty huge rebounds in overtime. There weren't a ton of stops happening in overtime on either side. How, when you combine the way that offense is working with just having all this length and athleticism out there, how do you feel like this overtime almost kind of represents the identity of how you guys are trying to play?
Well, particularly if you compare it to the first quarter, where I thought we played good defense at times, but we gave up those rebounds and we turned the ball over. I think those two things, if we can be efficient offensively, we can defend and finish possessions on either end, taking care of the ball and giving ourselves a chance to guard. And then when we do guard, finishing plays. And I think a key thing for us is just not caring who gets the rebound, as long as it's, whether, red, white, whatever our colors are, blue, yellow. It's hard to keep track. I like them all. But I think us, taking care of business and everybody on the glass doing a job, and that was one of the things with Onyeka obviously rebounded tonight, but there were a lot of times, he just had to keep Cornette off the glass, and then Jalen's going to get it or Dyson's going to get it. We tip it and somebody gets it. Those are the types of rebounds that, those collective team rebounds that hopefully could be something we continue to do.
Yeah. Q, how pleased were you with your physicality on the three-point defense? Even though they made 15, I thought all night long you guys were really physical with them, and you didn't allow them to be able to get those threes that they used to get up uncontested.
Well, they're so good in isolation situations, I think because of their size and their athleticism with Tatum and Brown, really across the board, White too. When you think you're on them, sometimes they're still open. So, big point of emphasis to try to crowd those guys and just make those shots a little harder. A few times they beat us. You might get beat. A few times they beat us to the middle of the floor, and we overhelped, and then it's Pritchard making one. But for the most part, I thought, we did a good job of executing in that situation, as you said.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.